In 2080.
Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, and then they got go.
Wake up, bitch, get up, get up, get up. God damn. I actually wanted to start this. Really did, but I figured what the hell, we'll work out the kinks, we'll do it live. Well, fuck it, we'll do it live. It's your old pal Mac, aka Mr.Burger. This is the After Jack show. Listen, there's gonna be some fuck ups in this thing. so you know what? Send your complaints and your issues to Mr. Burger at I don't give a fuck.com. All right. So I'm going to apologize in advance. This first inaugural run is technically episode 2. Let's fucking get started, shall we? We're all about the 80s here, the 80s and the 90s. We go over ads, commercials, television shows, films, music videos. We do trivia. We do pop culture, all that kind of stuff like that there. And we're going to jump right into it with this thing here. I believe, let's just run it. We'll figure out what the hell it is. Turn it up. That, my friends, was a show called Fraggle Rock. Now, if you're wondering where the transgender and rampant degeneracy and flagrant homosexuality came from, it was because children were exposed to this horrible, awful, terrible show called Fraggle Rock.
Get your cares away. Worries for another day. Let the music play. Darling Fraggle Rock.
Seething homosexuality. Now, it was on HBO, and it was really awful. It was part of the Jim Henson Company. They created this particular show, sold it to HBO, licensed it out. It was really trash. It was never really funny. It was almost like a deranged version of Sesame Street that was on cable. I don't know how. I think it went 2 seasons at the most. They had these little characters. They were Fraggles that lived in the walls and undergrounds, but they had these other little characters called Dozers. They used to build these structures out of sugar glass. I don't know. The whole thing was convoluted and extremely, I don't know if I mentioned this, gay. If that's what you're into, I guess that's what you're into. But Fraggle Rock was one of the worst shows ever to be put out. It made no sense. It was incoherent. Even for a kid's show, it was dopey. It was just pure, unadulterated, basic cable ass. Because back then in those days, I think basic cable, right when cable first started, I think you paid an extra $2 or $3 and you got HBO. So it was essentially, I think, back in the 80s, I think cable was $15.99. Then you pay another $4 and you get HBO and Cinemax and all the rest of the stuff. And this was part of that package. And it was really weird because HBO had a reputation for being kind of an adult thing. And then this stupid show showed up. It never got any traction. There's a fan base out there for it, but if you look at a lot of the men that are involved with it, they look a bit, if you will. So it's kind of like the men that are all the men that collect My Little Ponies. It's that type of crowd. Moving on from that complete load of ass, this show, however, my friends, was freaking awesome. Totally underrated and amazing.
In 2086, 2 peaceful aliens journeyed to Earth, seeking our help. In return, they gave us the plans for our first hyperdrive, allowing mankind to open the doors to the stars. We have assembled a team of unique individuals to protect Earth and our allies, courageous pioneers committed to the highest ideals of justice and dedicated to preserving law and order across the new frontier. These are the adventures of the Galaxy Rangers.
Into these worlds of unknown danger they ride. They're the Galaxy Rangers, heroes in the sky. No bats, no glory. Oh, taking their stand, ready to prove it again.
This fucking show was dope as shit. All right. If you never watched Galaxy Rangers, if you never partaked in this fucking show, you're out of your goddamn mind. There's something wrong with you. That show was the shit. I literally almost got my ass kicked by my dad because I was so obsessed with this fucking show. I had to see it every day after school. I don't care if I was sick. I don't care. You know, the bus driver. I almost got in a fight with the bus driver because he was one time it was late. He was running late, and he made me get home about halfway through the show. I love this show. It was amazing. Goose, the black guy who does the medical stuff, Doc. Goose was a shape-shifting gunslinger. He could, whatever he touched, he could turn into. He's like Absorbing Man from the comic books. Fucking Galaxy Rangers was the fucking shiznits. It was a goddamn amazing show, and how anybody, because if anyone says any different, you're a fucking idiot. Great show. I think it was 2 seasons is all it was. The quality of the animation was fantastic. You know, it was cartoon dialogue, okay? It was really cartoon dialogue. They basically, it was produced by Sunrise, which produced all the Marvel stuff, like the X-Men shows and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And you can tell by the animation style that that's the same people made it. This was the fucking shit, man. Galaxy Rangers was a great show. Goose was modeled on Clint Eastwood. They even found an actor that could talk like Clint Eastwood. It was fantastic. Adventure after adventure. Psychic, bionic man with a bionic arm that shot force beams from it. Oh man, what a great show, man. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. It's fucking awesome. Fantastic show, man. Galaxy Rangers. If there's anybody out there that remembers Galaxy Rangers, drop something in the chat. One of the best shows that ever came on, best shows that ever was produced. Great television show. I'm gonna do a whole thing about Galaxy Rangers. Whole thing about it. Excellent program. Let's get into some of the ads real quick. Some of the stuff from the 80s. I'll just pull up one. Let's see what we got here.
When it's time to close your bag, are you going to rely on something wimpy or something hefty?
Hefty.
The cinch sack from Hefty. Fill it up and it closes up. Reopen it and put in more.
Hefty.
Want a bag that'll close every time? Then don't send a wimpy bag to do a hefty job. The amazing cinch sack from Hefty.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you don't understand about that particular ad campaign, it literally took over the country. Every kid in every school in America was saying hefty, wimpy. It was like psychologically burned into your mind. I mean, every child between the ages of, I think, 6 and 17 was walking around saying hefty, wimpy. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know if they structured it that way or it was some kind of subliminal messaging, but everybody was saying that. It was one of the most popular ad campaigns of the time. Hefty bags. It made it an iconic, I guess, an iconic product in America. Simply because of that stupid riff. If you say it over to yourself a couple of times, it gets stuck in your head. It's like the theme from Gilligan's Island. It's fucking weird. I never got over that as a kid. It was always that stupid hefty, wimpy. It was everywhere. It was on ABC. It was on NBC. It was on CBS. Every place that goddamn commercial would play. Oh, God. Anywho, let's take a break real quick and get into a bit of trivia. Let me run the first one here. Let's see. Boom. All right. What comedy film starred Bill Murray as a modern-day retelling of Charles Dickens' classic Christmas Carol? Was it Screwed? Was it It's a Wonderful Life? Was it Scrooged? A, B, or C? What do you think? Give you a second. Think about it. I think I have a clip in this particular one. I'm not sure. Don't blame me if you did. And like I said, this movie... Oh, there it is.
ghost of Christmas present.
That was a clip from the movie. What was it? Was it Screwed? Was it It's a Wonderful Life? Or was it Scrooged? By the way, this particular film, without giving it away, was kind of a box office failure. It made a little money, but it wasn't necessarily a hit per se. Bill Murray apparently was extremely rude to a lot of the cast members. He was extremely nobody liked him. Nobody liked him. He was a bit of an asshole on this particular set, from what I understand. So again, not a big hit for Bill Murray. One of his lesser known films. You know what I mean? Just not anything to write home about. The timer's up. 22 seconds is counting down. Put your answers in the comments. You will be entered into a giveaway, and I'll show you what you can win. If you DM me on Twitter, I'll tell you what you win. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. What's the answer? Scrooged. Oh, that is the answer. Scrooged is the answer. Folks, Scrooge. That's the one. Scrooge. BBB, CCC. Ding, ding, ding. All right. This is what you can win if you DM me on Twitter. See this cute little plushy toy? I'll mail that to you if you live in the continental U.S. You'll have yourself a nice little Mr.Burger plushy toy right there that you can share with your significant others. It'll be lovely. It's wonderful. Yeah, little boy. What's it called? You can get yourself this hat. This wonderful hat. All right, I like it. You can get this wonderful hat, or this wonderful plushie toy, your choice. Mail it to you in the continental U.S. Hit me up on Twitter with the answer, Mr. Burger, American Badass. That's where I'm at on Twitter. Okay, that's what you gotta get to. All right, let's get on with this. Let's get to another commercial real quick. Let's see here. What do we got?
Wow. All this work's making me really hungry.
McDonald's introduces Super Summer Sizes.
Laughs around the pool make me so thirsty.
Larger than large mega servings of icy Coca-Cola, golden fries, and thick milkshakes, but for a limited time only. So drive through today.
Serve it up summertime at McDonald's.
Here's the sinister thing about this. Okay, this is where it all started. A lot of people don't realize this. This commercial came out around 1985, and before that, there was no such thing as supersize. No such thing. It didn't exist. And you think about it. This is where America became morbidly obese. This is where millions of Americans started on their journey to heart disease, diabetes, and other horrible, horrible diseases. McDonald's had no restaurant had ever introduced supersized meals. None of them. This is where it all began, folks. This is where the American diet, the American public, the American citizen put on 40 or 50 pounds of extra weight. It was a promotional campaign that they ran for the summer, and it was so successful that they immediately started it again in the spring of 1986, and it's been a thing with McDonald's ever since. The only reason they waited so long, they waited 9 months, is because they couldn't make the cups or the fries containers and all that kind of stuff quickly enough. They didn't realize how successful the campaign was going to be. So they had to delay it 9 months before they implemented it basically permanently. The rumor is, and this can't be confirmed, that it quadrupled their profits, while of course killing millions of Americans in the process. So that's where it all started. 1985, Supersize Me at McDonald's. That's the very first commercial that featured that particular slogan. Let's see what else we got here. All right, moving on.
If you've never tried our chicken rondelettes, you're missing a real treat.
Mighty good, Mr. Weaver.
Because we think our chicken rondelettes are the best tasting chicken patties you can buy. You see, they're made with juicy, tender, farm-fresh chicken in a thin, crisp breading.
Mighty good, Mr. Weaver.
And you can make lots of great meals with them.
Mighty good, Mr. Weaver.
If our chicken rondelettes weren't good, we wouldn't put the Weaver name on them.
Mighty good, Mr. Weaver.
Yeah, they weren't good. Anybody who's still watching this, let me tell you something about frozen chicken in the 80s. On my previous show, I already talked about this. That shit was horrible. It was nasty. There was something wrong with all the frozen chicken that was put out in the 80s. I don't know if they were using antibiotic steroids or certain types of chemicals, but it all tasted extremely weird and extremely gross. Let me tell you something. You didn't miss anything if you weren't eating frozen foods during the 80s. It was horrific. And especially if you microwaved it. It turned into a piece of chicken flavored styrofoam. It was vomitous. And this Weaver shit was no exception. Awful product. Disgusting. It wasn't as bad as Plump and Juicy or the stuff that Swanson made. Because I swear to God, some Swanson chicken, I'm not sure if it was real chicken. If it actually was a bird. Okay. This stuff was basically processed chicken parts, ground up and forced into a mold and then pushed out. I mean, they do kind of the same stuff nowadays, but I assume that it tastes a lot better than that. But this Weaver shit was disgusting. It was awful. I think my family, we tried all this stuff. We tried it. And it was vile. It tasted awful. We tried it with chicken sandwiches. We tried it by ourselves. We tried it about 6 or 7 times. We got it from Safeway or Kroger's at the time. Down here was Minyards. And it was just the most awful, disgusting, artificial crap. Imagine that chicken sandwich you get at McDonald's, only about 1,000 times worse. Awful shit, man. Really, that part of the 80s, you were not missing at all. You hear? Not at all. Okay, let's get back into a bit of trivia with this one right here. Boom. Shaka boom. Okay. Which 80s television show featured a talking car? Was it A, Knight Rider 2000, A, Night Boat, or C, Knight Rider? Which one of these was the title of that particular show? I can tell you right now, the show starred a man named David Hasselhoff, who had a short-lived musical career in Europe. He was a big star in Germany, put it that way. You got 22 seconds coming up here. What is the name of this one? It's fairly easy. Put the answers in the chat. Send me the answers on Twitter, and you can win yourself a free prize, Mr. Burger t-shirt, or a Mr. Burger plushie, or a Mr. Burger hat. Got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's your answer.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
Let me tell you something. Knight Rider was a shit when you were a kid. I mean, it really, really was. People loved it. A talking car named Kit, a white guy with curly hair and a plastic jacket. It was fucking great. When you watched the behind the scenes of the show, when the car used to do this thing called turbo boost, it would launch itself into the air like that, and it would come down and it would be in absolutely perfect condition. But if you watch the behind the scenes of the show, the car would hit a ramp, come down, and literally explode. It would break apart into a million pieces. And of course, they edit that shit out on the actual show. But Knight Rider was must-see TV on Saturday night. The whole family would gather around it. You'd watch the adventures of Kit and Michael Knight thus the name Knight Rider. It was silly. The dialogue was stupid. The villains they weren't even one-dimensional. They were negative one-dimensional. it was one of the most ridiculous fucking shows you've ever seen, but I loved it. Who didn't love it? Of course, the answers in the quiz, just to go over that pretty quickly, Night Boat was a joke on The Simpsons, where they did a parody of Knight Rider, only it was a boat, and all the crimes had to take place next to water. Because if it did, well, he just couldn't solve them. If it didn't, he couldn't solve them. And Knight Rider 2000 was the attempt to reboot the show. It was horribly received. It was badly done. They split the character up into multiple pieces. Basically, it wasn't just the car. It was a truck. It was a car. It was a motorcycle. It was horrible. It was badly done. David Hasselhoff had put on a lot of weight during that particular period of time, and he seemed to be breathing hard in every single scene. So let's move on, shall we? I believe. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see what this is. Stuff. StreamYards is just. Oh, let's see what this is. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Galaxy Rangers. All right, folks. Well, I tell you what. This is going to be a short one, simply because this was not supposed to happen this week. This was supposed to happen next week. I've got usually I have about 10 quiz questions with everything all set up and everything with musical stuff already. There's a Duran Duran trivia thing we're going to be doing, an old synth pop thing we're going to be doing. We're even going to get into the old rap type stuff from the 80s. As long as it's in the 80s, that's where we're going to go with everything. And yeah, it'll be much more together after the Flashcast one. We do an after Flash version of this show. Right after Flash is done talking, we basically come in. The Flashcast ends. The call-in part of the show ends. We jump in and do this thing here with the 80s. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right now. Just kill it and pick it up again next week. Again, send your answers into me on Twitter. You'll be put into a drawing. You will win again one of these or one of these or one of those t-shirts behind you. Your choice, sending only to the continental United States of America. Hit me up on Twitter, DM me on Twitter with the answers, and I'll mark you down, set you up, and send you a great prize. I appreciate your nonsense, putting up with my nonsense here, and watch this here promo as we wrap it up.
You do not have to watch all the garbage coming out of Hollywood. Support the Mr. Burger Show and everything Nerd Nation Media puts out. Support all of our projects and Indiegogo by signing up for the pre-launch campaign. Don't give your money to woke Hollywood. Support cartoons and films that support you. Support entertainment without agenda. Nerd Nation Media makes cartoons and live-action films for pure entertainment and fun. No lecturing, no preaching, and no woke politically correct garbage.
Follow and like us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Click the link to support us on Indiegogo. Like, share, and subscribe now.
Nerd Nation Media. Entertainment without agenda.
Next week, 10 questions, 10 trivia questions. Most of those are going to be music, so get your thinking caps on. Brush up on your 80s musical stuff. Aha, Dexy's Midnight Runners, Spandau Ballet, Genesis, Run DMC, Beastie Boys. Brush up on all that. Figure all that out. Brush up on your cartoon knowledge. All right, we're going to come at you with a lot of stuff about G.I. Joe, Visionaries, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If it happened in the 80s, we're going to cover it. All right, we're going to give you a break from the 2000s, which are the worst timeline, and we're going to take you back to a time when everything was cool, great, wonderful, and not human garbage. So that's going to wrap it up for me right here, right now. I'm done. I will talk to you. Catch me on the After Flash show. That's about 3 a.m. in the morning on Sunday after Flashcast. 5 minutes after it's over, I'm back. And then I'm going to probably do 5 minutes after Post Kangs with John Malin. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button, and blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff like that. There, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up.